The head that wouldn't die. Chills ran down my spine as I stepped into the abandoned building. I had been alerted to its presence by rumors of strange and mysterious occurrences. The building had been deserted for many years, allowing wild plants to overtake the interior, making it look like a scene straight out of a horror movie. I cautiously made my way up the stairs, my footsteps reverberating throughout the decrepit structure. As I reached the top of the stairwell, I was met with a putrid smell emanating from the door at the end of the hallway. I tentatively stepped inside, my shoe catching on a loose floorboard as I did so. An unnatural chill swept through the room, and a shiver ran through my body. Peering further into the room, I spotted what appeared to be a human head suspended in midair. It seemed to be hovering in the corner of the room, its lifeless eyes cast downward. Immediately, I had an overwhelming sense of dread coursing through me, as I felt almost compelled to approach the head. It seemed to be calling to me, beckoning me closer. I continued my approach, and soon my hands were firmly grasping it. On contact, the head began to spasm, its eyes widening and the mouth opening. A loud hollow moan accompanied the unnatural movement, reverberating throughout the dark room. I screamed in horror, dropping the head and fleeing from the room. I ran as fast as my legs would carry me, as far away from the building as I possibly could. But as I made my escape, I felt a presence. The once lifeless head seemed to be chasing me. I started to run faster, pushing my body to its limits, only to be stopped dead in my tracks as I felt the head press itself against the back of my neck. Too scared to turn around, I just knelt there screaming. I could feel its breath on my neck, and my skin began to crawl with an unknown fear. Suddenly, I heard a voice, hollow and distant. It seemed to float through the air, and as it did, I felt my grip on reality fading. The voice began to chant, "The head that wouldn't die, will always remain alive." I felt a power envelope me, as if I too were becoming part of the unnatural presence that seemed to linger in the darkness. I soon felt myself being dragged back toward the building, a force which seemed to be controlled by the head that was still clutched to my neck. I fought against my own body, but my strength and will were no match for the unnatural force that dwelled within the abandoned building. I eventually arrived back at the same room I had found the head in, my movements suddenly ceasing. I could see the face of the head, its eyes wide and gaze still affixed to mine, as it began to open its mouth. The darkness within the open void was almost too much to bear, and as I took a step closer, I finally understood the true meaning behind the words of the chant. It was telling me that I, too, was now part of the head that wouldn't die. As I began to scream in terror, I felt myself being pulled into the void of the head, my last sight being that of the decayed building around me. I somehow knew then that I would be forever bound to the head, an eternal part of its presence and agony.